All right, we're gonna start the Forestville Town Board monthly meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 16th of 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Ruth, can I have a roll call?
Okay, Kevin Gillett,
Here.
Larry Huber,
Here.
I'm Ruth Kirscher, Dina Schmidt,
Here.
Lauren Eker,
Yeah, present.
and Roy Engelbert.
Yep.
And hopefully Jason will be joining us on Zoom.
Right.
Not on there yet.
Do we have verification of public notice?
Yes, it was public, or it was
That was
posted, yes.
publicly posted.
Mhm.
Okay, agenda presentation?
Yeah, I don't see any, or are there any changes that have to be made? I don't think so.
I didn't see any when I looked it over.
I just lost track of that ATV.
Yeah, I put it up there, I should.
Okay, I don't know that I saw that, but okay. I make a motion, we accept the agenda.
I'll second it. So a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? It'll carry. Approve meeting minutes from April 18th and broadband review from May 4th of 2023 meeting.
Board of Review.
Or Board of
Board of
Review,
Review.
I'm sorry, Board of
That's
Review.
right.
Let's see, so we have town board minutes. We have the,
Yes, and I looked them both over. I didn't see any changes that needed to be made.
we have, okay, yes. I'll second that.
Well, I need a motion first.
Oh, okay, I make a motion,
Okay, Larry made a motion.
that the minutes,
And then I'll second it. All in favor of approving? Aye. Opposed? It'll carry. Treasurer's report.
In the cemetery checking, we have $88.03. Cemetery perpetual care, we have $11,641.85. Cemetery savings, we have $3,749.18. Town checking, we have $1,737.67. Money market, we have $108,241.58. The LGIP general, we have $75,652.21. And the ARPA, we have $111,823.14, but I have to transfer quite a bit of money out of there for all the stuff that we did. So
For the bills.
for the, yeah, for the ARPA stuff, yes. So that'll be down quite a bit next month.
Okay,
when you receive it. You have no outstanding receivables? No.
No. I gotta bill, next month we'll have a invoice for broadband for that tower.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the rental.
Yeah, the rental tower.
It's not broadband anymore. It's a
Or,
different
yeah,
name.
it's
Did
a
I give
different
it-
name.
Did I give it to you?
Yeah, you gave me the, I don't know what the name is now, but
Which is Bertrand.
Bertrand.
No, not Bertrand. Where is it?
Okay.
Bertrand.
yeah, they
Bertrand.
bought it,
Yeah,
took it over or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It'll carry. Okay. Public comment. Is there anybody online?
No, we are the only ones on this meeting at this point in time.
Lauren, no public comment. Roy, no public comment. Okay. Correspondence? Do we have any correspondence that came in?
No, the information from Door County Community Fund, I didn't know if there's any more that you want to talk about after they presented that.
Well, we didn't ever, they proposed, you know, that we could
Mhm,
apply for
right,
funds and
right.
sooner the better. I always thought it would be to our advantage if we applied for something,
Mhm, mhm.
particularly, you know, where you know they're wanting to put the monies, like a public charging station for vehicles. You know, but we have not done anything. We haven't taken
No.
any formal position in that regard.
Something to think about. I guess.
Yeah, that's well, they said, if I'm remembering correctly, that there's like 2,500 that they wanted to send out,
Right.
right?
But we haven't done any investigation for what it would cost to put in a charging
Right.
station I mean, we're still in the process of finishing this building. You know,
Mhm.
the exterior, so I don't know.
I don't think you'll get a charging station for 2,500.
No,
Oh, heavens, no.
there was, I had to talk with Ruth, and there was a comment of possibly something on the pavilion to have a handicap
To build.
You know,
Well,
cement
we still have to take,
approach.
right, we still have to put some soil around where we.
And that's exactly
around
what
the
I
building.
said. At the same
And
time, you would
if
do
we
that.
The same thing there,
You
you
would do
build that at to grade so
Yes.
that you don't have that
Mhm.
hump.
Right, and I brought that concern up as well. You know,
We
because
haven't-
$2,500 isn't a lot of money to spend. Don't get me wrong, it's $2,500. Happy to have it. But at the same time, I don't think a charging station is gonna be.
Well, no, but I'm saying, I just use that as an example. which
Yeah.
they brought to us.
Yeah, but I mean, there is something there we could at least consider. I mean, we already have the existing thing, right? And I think everybody
Right.
agrees that it's a trip hazard that we have.
Right,
If we do have some handicapped people, that might be a really good spot to look at in investing that, if that makes sense. I don't know. Is that something?
have we? Was the finish of this facility and the bill up against the, the base? Around the flashing around the base? And is that all, are we done with this, or do we have more? work to do?
Well, and that might actually, Roy's here, that might be a great question to help me answer some of this. So the rain gutters, downspouts are laying there, and I gathered them up, and I kept them next to the building, and then I had called Vans and asked them, are you gonna send somebody back here to put them in? Jeff must have been the coordinator or salesperson, correct? And he's on vacation, so he was on vacation that entire time, and I don't even know if he's back yet.
No, he won't be back until 23rd.
Yeah, so Eric is like, Kevin, because I know these guys, and I know Eric, and he's like, I honestly have no clue. He says, whatever was written in there, but wouldn't you guys replace the rain gutters? And I said, I
No, they're supposed to be replaced with brown to match the siding.
the rain gutters are,
Downspouts.
oh, the downspouts are.
Yeah.
To be replaced.
Yes.
Okay,
And I also asked them to fix a corner at the same time,
yeah, okay.
and
So
so
the bent up,
each corner.
So-
Yeah.
eavesdrop.
You know, because Eric said, well, do you have the original proposal? I couldn't find the
No,
original.
Ruth has.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had nothing to go off. I said, well, Eric, I said, I'll just wait till Jeff comes back and then I'll bring him up and we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
they're supposed to be downspouts to match the siding, otherwise that would look ugly. with white.
Yeah, no argument here, but I'm glad that you were at least here, so now I'm like, cause I was missing a piece of the puzzle, I couldn't, I didn't know where to go. Until Jeff got back, so I guess at least for that, then, that's good, that,
Keep on them, make sure, you remind them.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That won't be a problem, I'll stay on to make sure that gets done, but at least now I know it's supposed to be brown, we're supposed to fix this and we're good to go. I mean, cause, they've asked for final payment. And I mean, we have it here, we've done part of that, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I didn't know where we were on that,
Job's not complete.
so,
So it's not complete.
No. Can't do it.
so what we can do is just hold that one back.
Okay,
is what
I
we'll
can do that.
Until it's complete.
Okay.
Yeah. So, going back to the comment as far as the $2,500 that is supposed to be coming from the community foundation,
Did
Do we wanna just
apply
take-
for it?
it almost didn't sound like you needed to apply for that part of it. From what I read, is we're going to be giving that to each town,
Mhm.
$2,500 only. Because they had an excess of funds, that's what they said in that letter, if I read that correctly. If you wanted to do more. To have people come, a park or something else,
Then we.
that part you
Yeah,
applied for.
yeah.
Okay,
And it would be partially based off of what you had for dollars. that came from rental units and things of this nature, but we didn't really have
No,
hardly
like
anything.
126
So we're gonna be
dollars.
pretty limited to begin with. So the gift of 2,500 was absolutely super, not that we've seen anything, but I'm sure that's going through their whole
Mhm.
route, but that's how I understood that letter. Ruth, is that how you kind of
Yes,
understood it as well?
Yes,
Have you had any contact with? the,
no, no, haven't
maybe-
heard anything from them
Yeah,
either.
we should contact them. and
Yeah,
ask
we
them.
can call.
Mhm.
Yeah, why don't you do so? Would be a good idea. And then we could use that to take care of that.
Right, because then we at least would know for sure, right? But then I could find out, what are we talking,
Right.
for a handicap approach and
Mhm.
where would we want to go? So we could go and get some numbers to find out, is it 2,500? Do we got to add a little bit to it with the ground and the ground around here? Because if you're here doing it, you may as well do it all at the same time.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll kind of table that, do a little bit of investigating, and then we'll know where we
Back
go with
to
that.
Yeah, so that'd be something we probably add to the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. ATV route. Now, that had came up on the last
The annual meeting.
annual meeting, yep. So. I asked Ruth, well, what the ordinance was and what we have, and she had printed this thing off for me.
Well,
That's what we have at this point in
Yeah,
time.
that's our ordinance from
Mhm.
2017,
Correct.
and that's when we added Mill Road and the two little
yes.
sub-roads. Yeah,
H in the Maplewood and J in the.
well, and the Stone Road was all the way up there, and that's a lot, right?
Mhm, yeah,
Yeah, and then, what else have we got on there? Stone Road. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, plus this little piece,
Stone Mill, J and H.
Yeah,
mhm,
right,
and I think what Lauren was looking for is. Opening up our town roads to it, period,
all,
all.
Town and I would add county roads in our township, county old.
how does the county, as our county board representative in the highway department, how does the county deal with if a town were to open all the town roads? And what about the county roads are within the confines of the town?
Okay, in your emails that are in your inbox, there is correspondence between the corporate counsel for Door County and the opinion of the corporate counsel for Kewaunee County.
Okay,
The corporate counsel for Kewaunee County adopted an ordinance for ATVs, UTVs. And by them adopting that ordinance, the Kewaunee County Sheriff's Department is going to police and take care of any infractions of ATVs, UTVs on county roads. If a town adopts, this is Kewaunee County,
yep, yep,
if the town adopts the county ordinance, then the Kewaunee County Sheriff's Department will enforce the regulations of ATVs and UTVs on town roads. That is 180 degrees completely different than our corporate counsel for Door County. Door County Sheriff's Department will only enforce county roads. They will not enforce any town roads. The only township that has all their town roads, any county road open, is Washington, town of Washington. There they have their own police force. They have 2 policemen on duty on town of Washington.
Right.
If you were to open up all your roads for your town for ATVs and UTVs, chair and the 2 supervisors are responsible for enforcing the regulations that you set for ATVs and UTVs on town roads. So you will be the ones that would get the calls for any racing on. Now, I got a call just for racing on J in the town village of Forestville. I just had to call the sheriff's department because they will enforce the county roads, but not the town roads. So that would be your responsibility if you You elect to go that way. The other thing is, if you elect to open out all your town roads for ATVs and UTVs, you have to have a sign on every road coming into your township. On all-
Entry to the township on every road that enters there.
Every road, saying that it's open. If you look at Canopy, they have that.
Right.
And
I
that's-
seen that.
And that's your expense.
Right.
If you want to petition the highway department to open up a county road, the minimum cost is $100 per county road if you want to open up. Plus, you have to have 2 hearings on each road that you want to open up, because that goes before the county board on each road that you're going to open up ATVs and UTVs.
How do they do that on, let's say, Town Line Road X?
The ex-county line road, that portion is Door County.
On our portion?
Yes, that's X.
I'm just curious.
The same thing with S, it's Door County. So that is the expense, so that's just, I'm just cautioning you, the things that you would be up against if you open up your town roads.
Originally, I remember having that discussion, and we opened it up to gain access to the rest of the trails.
That is what the request was, yeah.
Yes. But then every road, as they hit the town,
Right, so what I.
you
I
have
see
to
that.
put in.
It's just a little sign about being big.
Well, I understand. Oh, wow.
See, when you had the request to have Mill Road and Stone Road, the trail, whatever association that was.
It was it was a group of, was it snow? It wasn't snowmobiles. No, it was a riders group.
Yeah, they agreed to
Put the signs
pay and
up.
put up the signs,
They did. They put the signs up.
yeah, and maintain them.
And maintain them.
But it is the town's responsibility to maintain the signs and put them up. That is, yeah,
So, yeah, we're talking like 25 or 30 signs
yes,
to put them up. And then they also have to petition the county for the county roads that they would have to do that on.
right,
And they have a fee
yep,
of $100 per road.
that's what I understand, yeah.
Now, being that County H is open to Maplewood, would that be grandfathered in?
It's only Mill Road.
Yeah,
Mill
Mill
Road.
Road, H here, the Mill Road,
42.
42 Mill Road is open.
Mill Road to 42, yeah, but our
H
township,
between Mill
yeah,
Road and 42.
but I say, but our town, our township, who's,
Yeah,
you know, a lot further than just to Mill
but
Road.
wouldn't that be grandfathered in? Is
Not
what I'm
if you-
getting at?
No,
You're asking for the whole, all of H, and that's another, that's a.
that's a different request, yeah,
I'm just,
yeah,
you know,
right. That's what I'm looking at here, because we would have J, we've got H, we've got O, got D, there's a significant number of roads that go through our township. So and that would be for the entire distance of the road within the township, right?
Mhm.
So you would have that on D, you'd have it on J, you'd have it on O, you'd have it on H, you'd have it, and there's lots of places here.
Mhm.
So that's several $100 just to get the county to go along with it.
Right,
And then we'll have another 20 or so, 25 signs that we'd have to put up and maintain for the perimeter of the town.
mhm.
I think we need to put more thought into that process.
Well,
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll talk to Thad and I'll find out is required and what the cost would be. And then we'll find out. what the
I just
cost
did a
of the sign
rough,
would be,
I just did a rough count all the way around.
so that we know what we're actually saying or not saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think Jason should be a part of that conversation besides this.
Mhm. I agree.
So-
Your big problem would be enforcement. I just want to caution you,
Yeah.
you are going to be the enforcers on that.
Right,
So you're the one that has to do the enforcement.
right.
Okay, understood.
So that's
So,
another one.
yeah, we'll put, table it for now and it will, get a little more information. And it will put it on another agenda.
Here's, you get this.
Okay, all right.
Southern Door Fire Department report.
We had a very nice, short meeting this past month, 45-minute meeting. Everything went pretty well. Our last meeting was last Wednesday, May 10th, held at the South Station. The treasurer reported $84,335.49 in the Nicolay checking account. In the Nicolay money market account, $312,846 even. In the Capital Credit Union money market / CD, $50,395.14. And the ISDA annuity, which I'll get that just a little later, that we did cash in. $104,540.74. Grand total of $447,576.63. Ooh, that's a sheet in front of you, in case you guys want to take a look at that. The chief reported 3 calls last month. One was on Mill Road, the single vehicle rollover fatality of the 32-year-old man. We provided patient care, scene safety, and traffic control. April 15th was a call on County C and County M reported of an unintended fire. A small smoldering pile was found in a fence line. There was a farmer present in the field. The fire had been burned 4 days previously. And with the wind, it kicked up and started a small fire. April 21st, Sand Bay Lane up in Sister Bay, actually Rowley's Bay. We were paged by a Mavis. 2 trucks were sent, one for the North Station, one for the South Station. If we look at the calls, the 3 calls, one was in the township of Forestville and one was in the township of Nassau, and one was mutual aid. 18 EMR calls in that same time period, April 12th to May 10th. In his notes, hose testing training. They tested the North Station hoses May 8th, and the South Station hoses were done last night. Some of the 42, 43-year-old hoses still pass inspection. Southern Door Fire Department hosted the Mavis drill for Door County. Mavis drills take place just to get the comm center, the 911 center, and to keep everybody in practice. It's a drill. We hosted, there was a fire, we had it, what did it say? Oh, it's a structure fire in County M. So, it gets called in and then, they just practice responding on who's coming, who's sending what, just to keep everybody fresh. It's just like firefighter practice Monday nights at the stations. This is just county-wide practice. The internet at the South Station is now T-Mobile instead of, is it Brightspeed or CenturyTel like it was?
Is that working better? Or?
Well, I logged on the computer the other night and it was like there. So from what I could tell, it was pretty decent. New batteries were inserted into engine 907. 907 is the truck we are selling to the township of Nassau. The batteries are dead, unfortunately. Insurance coverage for firefighters' death and disability, injury and illness is changing from one company to the other. Current company is VFIS and it's being switched over to Provident. Same coverage for just a little better rate. Grain and rescue training was held at S&S Ag Enterprises this past Saturday. I don't know how the turnout was, but I know they said it was gonna be an all day kind of,
Yeah, quite a few people then.
quite a few.
Mhm.
Former fireman Ron Eisenman's celebration of life service is May 20th. 7323 Hammerston Road, which is his residence. And the picnic date of July 29th of 2023 is still going. Fireman's input. The brand new engine that went to Indianapolis for the show has a recall already. So that'll be taken care of before delivery. Possibly the last week of May or one of the first weeks of June. We're planning on that. It was decided that brush truck 919, which is the pickup truck style truck held up at the North Station, should be appraised. Being that its value is it's got somewhat of a value to it, that it should be appraised. So we sent off, myself along with Dave Hockey, sent off the information to this Burnley Mountain fire apparatus company for appraisal. Dave Hockey reported on the Indianapolis show, in which our new truck that's being built, that went down. He reported on the show. He said you could not see it all in barely in 2 days. They had everything from new equipment to, firefighter training to like relay races for firemen who can climb the ladder, pull the hose and he said that they really, it was a really good show to attend. And going back to the ISDA annuity, we did vote to cash it in. And I was presented with a check last week at the meeting. And I did take it to Capital Credit Union to put down on the loan. And we're just waiting on the new amount that they're gonna amortize it. We're still doing the same term, still gonna go for the full 5 years, which is another 4 years. That the payment will be from $9,600 a month now down to 77 or 73 or 77, something like that, somewhere in that range. And in correspondence, we received the notice of non-renewal / lease termination from town of Nassau for the North Station. That was read, and the secretary has a copy of that on file. So. Oh, and then, another thing I was gonna touch on, Kevin, do you wanna touch on?
Yeah, I was
On
gonna go
the remaining meeting?
give my update to the board here of where we're sitting at this very moment in time. So far, what we did is we drafted a lease agreement for the equipment that we also drafted an offer to purchase for the truck and an offer to purchase for the air packs that are on that particular truck, because those are the 2 items that they need in order to get their licensing for their fire department. So that drafted, went to the attorney has okayed it, went to the township. Myron had dropped it off for us, so we know that it got where it needed to go. To date, we haven't heard anything back on that at all. All I got was an email from Nassau asking if we would have some time this week to sit down and talk about the values of other stuff and how far apart we may or may not be. So then, when I got the email, I called Myron and I called Terry and asked them, because they wanted to sometime meet at this point in time, this week sometime. They didn't know. But Terry is gonna be leaving on Thursday. And they had specific days that they couldn't meet, so I'm gonna draft up an email and send it back to Mr. Sullivan and just let him know. First off, I think we wanna be more understanding of what you're actually asking for. Is it a specific thing? Is it only on this truck? Is it, what is it? Because if you're asking for all of the stuff, we're not ready, we're not done. You know, because we were taking this in bites, is what we're doing.
It was my understanding that Claybanks Village and the town were gonna have meetings because you wanted to get that truck taken care of a month ago.
Correct, we have been. That was the whole purpose of the offer to purchase. So what it was is the counter offer to their offer, right? They sent
Yeah,
out, they
okay.
sent us an offer.
Right.
Well, their offer did not match where we were. So what we did is we split the difference between the two offers is what we, you know, two appraisals. Is really what it comes down to. And in their offer, it said all equipment on that truck. Well, that's not even an option there. We do an inventory, there's $70,000 worth of equipment on that truck. We're not giving you, it's not happening. You're gonna go buy a truck, you're gonna buy a truck.
There's a Jaws of Life on there, which
Right.
which they had in their list of small items,
Either way,
right?
terminology like that is a
But
scary,
there's a generator on there, there's
Yeah.
chainsaws, there's German saws, there's hoses, fittings, nozzles,
I believe
iPads,
Jason joined us. I will have to get him up there.
so we countered offered is what we did
or plain truck.
for a plain truck. Then we also gave them an offer for the air packs because they needed the air packs. Those two items they had to have in order to get their licensing or approval from the state. So we did that. And we did a lease because the equipment still has to be used as we are still one. It is not a monetary lease, it's basically a lease of, we're not gonna be liable for if the truck blows up, if it's an insurance issue, we take care of it, right? Because we pay the insurance. If it was a maintenance, yearly maintenance has already been done. So that's done. So Randy looked at it, paid everything, and we sent it off. So that's where phase one is. Now,
Okay.
there's a lot to this.
Right, I see that.
So there's inventory on each and every single truck. Then there's a whole inventory of everything else within that building,
All of it.
then the building. You know what I mean?
Yep,
So the whole point of that, when he's asking that question of, well, we'd like to find out where we are. Well, we're not done. So we want to narrow that search down to what are you really asking for first off? So we know how to have a meeting, because if you're gonna come to the meeting and you're wanting to, I want to know what all this is. We're not done. We didn't get our work done yet. It's not a 2-second process by any stretch.
okay, so the two towns and the village have had meetings and sent
Yes.
something off,
Absolutely.
and there's been no response.
No response to this point in time on those particular items that they were asking. for.
Okay. So that's all that's been worked on.
That, yep, and now the next meeting, that we're gonna go to the next phase, and we've got a game plan of what we're gonna try to accomplish on each and every meeting, is what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
So with no response, I don't really have any more to report other than what we've gotten done so far.
Okay. I believe, Jason, are you online? Yeah, well, you gotta unmute yourself if you wanna talk.
Yeah, I got it.
No, he's got.
I'm just running on a very, I'm running on a very low bandwidth here.
Well, why don't you turn off your video if you can? It'll work better for sound.
You can't see when he raises his hand.
Well, either we have to hear him or see him. So, see, hearing you would be better than
We
seeing.
can't read lips.
Can you still hear us?
I don't know. Can you see us or hear us? I don't know.
I can see you and I can hear you.
Okay,
Oh, we
You
can
know.
hear you, but we don't need it necessarily.
Face- You know, they broke up on me, so I have to shut the video off.
Your video is shut off.
That off?
Yeah, it was shut off.
That is, this has got to be the worst internet I've ever seen. There's no internet. I'm just saying.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh my God. Okay, all right, well, I'll do the best I can here, so. Am I unmuted yet? Did you?
No, you're still unmuted.
Okay, good.
No, we hear you, Jason.
All
But
right,
did you- Is on the fire department
Okay.
report? Well,
yeah. Got in just on the tail end of that.
okay.
so did you have any questions on the fire report or no?
Actually, no, I don't have any questions on that.
All right, thank you. Then we're gonna move on to item number 8 is Maplewood Sanitary District.
There's nothing to report that I have.
All right, nothing to report at this point in time.
Okay.
And then the cemetery report, item 9.
We're doing cemetery cleanup tomorrow morning, both cemeteries. There's also potential sale. But until I get contacted back, it's we'll find out.
All right. Ordinance adoption.
Okay.
Number 8. Adopt ordinance 2023-1 regarding appointment of alternate members to the Board of Review.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah,
Yeah, if we're picking up conversation in the background.
I get, yep, I got it.
Mute, and if you're just going to listen and mute, make it a little easier for us. Okay? Good, I guess. Okay,
If you notice on the original one, it was 2023 and I changed it to 2024,
okay,
beginning the 2024 year Board of Review. Because we
oh,
already
this is
had,
this is the first ordinance for this year.
yes,
Okay. Okay. Well, so we're doing it only for 1 year.
no,
Oh, and succeeding years
Right,
until
mhm,
things are
mhm.
rescinded. Got it.
but it's beginning next, it will be
For the next
adopted this
year.
year, but it will be
Because this year
beginning.
is
Next
done.
year.
Right.
Yeah, did you want to see that?
Okay, so,
But I don't know what names the board wants on there.
well,
We had
Good.
Monica and
Yeah.
Joanne.
Monica and Joanne, and we had talked about having Dina serve also as an alternate. You've gone through the training in the past.
Mhm.
Are you amenable to that?
That's fine.
Okay,
Mhm.
well, then I would make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2023-01 add
I
alternates.
second that.
Well, I didn't get finished making the motion. I know he's an hour ahead of me. So we appoint Monica and Joanne Bungle and Dina Schmidt. Now you can second it, Jason.
I second that.
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion to accept the ordinance 2023-1. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It'll carry.
And I guess I just need your signature. If you want to sign all 3 of them, and I'll.
All right.
When I get back into town, I can always stop by Ruth and sign that stuff after, right?
This one you don't
This one
have
you
to
don't have
sign.
to
This is
sign.
an ordinance.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha, thanks.
There was a third one?
Larry must have. Did you
I have one, hold on.
Christina,
I'm sorry.
four here. But oh, this is when they changed, yeah. Okay, and I'll finish that up.
And I'll need a copy of those.
Yes.
Okay, now, letter B in the ordinances, adopt the ordinance 2023-2 regarding allowing alternate form of sworn testimony and board of review hearings.
This was to allow people to testify by phone.
And I thought, what are we gonna do, just what Jason is doing right now?
Right.
Zoom, right, as well.
Or by video conference, I thought. Do we have that in this? This is the standard thing off of the, this
It
is,
just says the two requirements outlined were testify by phone or submit a sworn written statement.
right, and we talked
Maybe
about
it's,
doing that with,
Zoom.
video conferencing. We talked about that with the assessor when we went to the
Right.
Board of Review. So given that it's not in here,
Mhm,
we should have that in here.
right.
And I think that that would be, we can't adopt this if we're not going to.
Right.
include this.
Mhm.
Although it's not ideal to do it this way remotely. But it is one of the options that we wanted to have in there. We talked about that as a supportive review.
Yeah, it just says testify by phone or sworn statement. Mhm.
Right, so we'd have to say
Add the
phone,
Zoom.
video conference.
Is video conference different than Zoom?
Well, Zoom is a brand.
Okay. So it's
There's
basically the same
multiple
thing.
ways to
Okay.
do video conferencing.
Okay.
Mhm. I'll have to add
All
that
right.
in there then. Okay,
So
we'll do
this
that
one
next
here,
time.
We'll put on the next meeting.
Okay. Mhm. Good catch.
And to the next meeting.
Yeah, Zoom, there's all kinds of these things.
Yeah, it's just a Nike name. Okay, number 11, broadband. Request for proposal of the RFP, verification and information was received from John. Review and accept or deny request for proposal as presented. Roy? Would you like to help us here?
Input from from our committee chair here.
Like to bring you up to speed on what we've been doing. But we've had a series of meetings. And we have, one of the big things that has happened is that the town of Forestville requested to join Gardner, Union and Brussels in their quest for broadband service and do this. And so this is the people that we have in our committee. John Cook was the former chair of the town of Gardner. He's also formerly on the county board. And he is leading this thing. He is the one doing all the correspondence with our coordinator from the county. He is also the one doing the correspondence with the internet service providers. So we have three people from each one. This Stephan Atkin, she's from the town of Union. She's the one typing everything up and putting it together. I believe she works for the University of Green Bay. Joe Wattier is the town chair for Brussels. We brought two great people from the town of Forestville. Jason Rower is our IT director, and he's the one that sets up the meeting. He's giving all kinds of questions that he has of the provider. And Chris Sample works for AT&T. So we have a very good working group, and that's the committee. And prior to that, and the thing we had to do was do a survey, and we're getting the information back all the time. But we sent out a survey and we had 166 response. We sent out, excuse me, 419 letters. So we had a 166 response from that, which we thought was pretty good, which was 36%, which is a little bit better than average. And we also have had a survey of what kind of reception are they getting, and that went directly to the county. So, and that was included, and it's, most of it is very poor. There's only about 3 people in our whole town that's getting over 100 megabytes right now. And so that's what we have. And so what we have done, and in that brochure that you've seen, that what Ruth has in front of you, is that on the 8th page is we have a schedule of what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. I don't, did you print everybody printed a copy?
I did.
I don't know if I brought it,
Okay,
but
I didn't bring it. I did have it.
okay.
I attended several of the meetings.
Yeah.
Were there changes made from the April one?
It's, I believe it's
I have
yours.
April and I have the May.
May, oh, yeah.
Were there
Yeah,
changes?
yeah,
Well, there's,
Okay,
yeah,
that's what I
there's an
meant.
update to that.
yeah, there's an update. And the big thing here is
I don't have it with me.
what we intend to do is send out the request for proposal
Very
to all of
much.
the
You can-
IP internet service providers in May 31st. And then we would like to have that all back by, we're gonna have it all back by middle of August. But in between time, we'll have some sessions where they'll be asking questions of each municipality, what's your status, how many people do you have, how do you want the drops? Because the number of drops that you do on this fiber system, it determines the total cost. Like we have 466 residents, people living in houses in Forestville.
Now, that's septic is what you went on.
Yeah, that's 466, and we have about 560 buildings on this property, and how many people we have improved, with 911 addresses, I think it's around 700.
Yeah.
And that, so if we have a drop for all 700, every time you run a fiber line,
Yeah.
you put a drop, that means you can connect it. And so some people say you should have a drop for every E911.
Well, they also had that addressing thing that they were working on.
Yeah.
So if there's a piece of land that's got an address, but there's no home there yet,
Yeah.
but there may be a business or some other potential home.
Mhm.
So I remembered that discussion
Yeah.
'cause when I went to the committee meeting, and we'll get, based on those bids. You're gonna send out this RFP to all of those ISPs.
Mhm.
And then based on the way you guys were talking in the committee, you were gonna go somewhere hybrid, as I recall.
That's correct, yeah, and that's a number where we want to all agree on the same number, all 4
Exactly,
municipalities.
yes.
We want to agree on the same number, either we go with,
Of drops you're talking about?
no,
Oh, no,
either living buildings, people living, or people with parcels with improvements on it, or parcels with just the 911 address on it. Yeah,
right,
make
there's
that,
three different ways of figuring out how many drops you're gonna have in your town. And each town's gonna have a different
oh,
number.
yes,
Yeah.
But in my sense of that, from the discussions, because we went to several of those meetings, was that we probably should, for the 4 municipalities, say the same thing.
same thing, yeah, we gotta say,
And once they do that, then you're gonna get a number back. And from there, then you can look to your town Forestville, and say, this, based on what number scheme you guys use, that's what it'll ultimately cost.
right.
And you put this, you had lawyer look at this, Randy.
Okay, what's different from that one to the one from May? What date is yours?
This
That's the
one is
main
May
one, the new
11th.
Okay, that's the last one. What we insisted in there to make it very clear that when the ISPs respond back is that they break it down by town.
By town.
We don't want one big number.
No, that's where I was headed.
Yeah, and that's it. It's written in, I think, 7.2 and also in the C, in the C is on the bottom of this in C. It's written real plain in there. So in between this whole thing happening,
This is the key to it.
yeah, and in between this happening is that planning to have a listening session, open session. For all municipalities, very likely at the Southern Door Auditorium, where the public can come and hear the presentations. And also, we'll probably just have a presentation if needed for just our township. Because we will know when we get these ISPs back, what the cost is going to be. So what the committee is going to do, they're going to sit down and they have a form of how to evaluate the vendors and then make the recommendation for all 4 towns. We have to all agree on the same one. That's what's giving us the price rate.
So right now, out of curiosity, Roy, you're saying there's 466 septics
Right.
within our township.
Yep.
How are the other townships feeling about those drops only going to those areas unless there's a request from somebody for whatever reason that, you know what? I come up here, I camp here, I know I don't have a septic, but I have a portable unit, who knows? I want to drop there.
And that's exactly, that's the first thing it said. Well, I got property and I got an E911 address on it, but I don't have a building on it. But I intend to build. Now,
But at that point, it would be just like power in my mind, right? I've got to apply for power and gas. Well, you'd have to have your phone line dropped at the same time. Well, now you get your internet line dropped. at the
that's
same
correct.
time.
You'd have an extra
That's a
cost.
cost on the person building the house.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That would be,
That's how I would.
that's
think
exactly
that
right.
through.
That's right. So what I've just passed out is who we interviewed. And Buck Tussle. Sevastopol went with Buck Tussle. Buck Tussle was not interested in our 4 municipalities.
So they're out.
They're out, yeah. And Frontier, even though Jacksonport went with Frontier said they're not interested in our area. But Bertrand, Insight, and Charter gave us a great presentation. They are very interested. By going with 4 municipalities like we did, this is one of the best things we ever did by joining 4 together. Now Nassawapi made an inquiry as if they might want to join us, but that did not come from the chair. It came from their head of their broadband committee. So I don't, he just contacted John Cook and that's.
John Cook or Jessica.
Yeah, and but Bertrand, Insight, Charter. Now, one interesting one is Brightspeed. Brightspeed has a big presence in Southern Door. They only cover a little bit more than half of our townships, but they cover
Right.
Brussels, they cover Gardner, and they cover Union. And they have the fiber optics already
Yes,
in the ground.
they did it. I watched them.
Unfortunately, they're way behind the curve. They just got a hold of the thing last August. And they didn't know how excited should be about this. And all of a sudden they're getting excited about it.
But when we went through that presentation with them, they only service half our township.
Yeah, just a little bit beyond County Road Old, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
And AT&T's got the other side of it.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we don't really have any money set aside for this.
Yeah.
And so there's not even build out money from Brightspeed.
No,
And yet now they're getting more interested.
yeah, they're interested. Yeah, they're interested. So we'll see. They will, and LIT communities are out of Alabama. They have no presence in Wisconsin. What they are looks like a brokerage firm where they contact different builders and put packages together is what they are. So we really have 4 good ISPs that we are going to submit this to. And this document that we're asking you to approve has been vetted many times. This is a boilerplate from Sevastopol. And a few others. And it's went through Randy Nesbitt. It's being forwarded to Randy Nesbitt just to make sure we don't have any wrong language in there. That's all it is. And so we're asking you to approve that at this meeting tonight. And
Is there a financial cost to us for this? This is just approving the wording and that all the work you
That we're
guys have done at this point in
participating.
time, and we're gonna participate.
yeah, your financial cost so far is any expenses incurred. And so far, you will be sharing 1/4 of the attorney's fees. We've already paid a $20 bill so far.
Plus your meeting fees.
Meeting fees.
And meeting fees. And this is what, this is the kind of stuff they gave us to look
yeah.
at these reports, so they gave us to look. And it was interesting.
So out of whatever group we pick here, I'm assuming they're the ones that are gonna apply and write the grant.
That's correct. Good question. Yes, they're gonna do the work for the grants. That's right.
I mean, I'm,
And what it looks like, what we're trying to get a feel for, what portion of the grant do we want to apply for? We feel that at least 35% of the total cost will be grant money. We feel that's what it's going to be. I don't think we'll get anything for 50%.
But that was based off of some of their presentations
Yes.
and their experience.
Yeah.
In my way of thinking, by putting it together with the 4 towns and allowing this joint committee to make a recommendation back to the individual towns, you're gonna sort through that criteria list
Right.
of everything everybody's saying.
That's right.
And there's a wide range
Yep.
of approaches to
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
So in my sense, I think, number one, I thank you for pulling that committee together.
It's interesting.
And secondly, I think that it behooves us to say, yeah, we still are on board with this. And when you get a recommendation as to who, and then with this breakdown by municipality, we'll have a sense of cost.
Yeah, right.
And then we can decide now, how then do we go forward? And now, when are you expecting to have all of these RFPs responded to? Is it August?
We expect to be able to come back to each town and say, here's who we have selected. And here's what we're looking at, what kind of cost. And now the next thing that will happen will be is that you will have to decide that, okay, go, and then they'll be writing a grant, and then you'll get back the information is what are the actual cost of the town. Meanwhile, get prepared to maybe do an advisory referendum next April.
Mhm.
That's why we're pushing this to, if you want, you as towns officials do have the option, you have the right to say, yes, we're gonna go and borrow money and do this, but.
yeah, but that kind of money, I think we're gonna wanna ask the people, even though you had a great
Your
response
response.
back, was
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah. Usually, most towns are saying we want to.
I just think we should
Advisory.
ask, because now you'll have. Maybe not exact numbers, but you're gonna have some numbers.
Right.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me? I didn't expect it to be.
yeah, yeah.
Or, yeah, you know what? I'm willing to pay that because I pay X amount a month or whatever the case. Okay,
Now, this is the interesting thing. Brightspeed says we're gonna keep the legacy program going. This is the
Yes.
copper wires coming to my house. But meanwhile, people are going online and going and getting web internet service. AT&T. If you're on County Road S, you can get AT&T or mobile,
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, I get it right. Yeah.
is that what they have at the fire station, T-Mobile?
Yeah, so, but everybody says if you want the best, get fiber, that's solid.
Yeah,
Now, if you were around in 9/11, 2001 and 9/11, what happened to the internet service on that? Remember that?
Yeah, I was waiting to get on an airplane.
Everything was down for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
yeah.
Government can shut that down anytime,
They do.
and they did. So,
I wonder how many of your responses that you got back from your survey have Brightspeed now? That you're talking about maybe going with Brightspeed, they're gonna say, hey,
We
We're
already
the-
got. yeah.
we already got that, we don't want that. That's why we
Well,
said.
this is why the evaluation's going on at a community level by the 4 towns.
Yeah.
You know, yes, there's other options available. There's HughesNet, there's Starlink. You got, but even with Starlink, as fast as it might be, it also has hiccups.
Mhm.
Question, because, and you know a lot of this stuff more than most of us. As these things progress through it, and whatever dollars we're looking at spending. In 10 years from now, is this obsolete and they come up with something else?
Not if we go with fiber.
That's what I'm asking the
Yeah.
question, like, is fiber this is what it's gonna be, and there's really nothing else that'll, you know what I'm
That's
saying here, right?
Yeah.
Like, we spent X amount of dollars, and then you know what? 20 years from now, are you kidding me? Because we'll still probably be paying the bill. 20 years.
No,
I'm just saying it.
I guess
Um,
my perspective on it is, we wouldn't be paying that bill that long. There's monies available through that, you know, through the state public lands, loan program.
Yeah, so right now, the federal government
Is pouring money
Yeah,
into
there's
that.
$1.2 billion available after June 1st for the program, writing the programs. And then sometime in 2024, there's gonna be another $5 billion. Now,
That's for building, that would be.
that's for building the thing, so, what was available before, when we heard the presentation from Bertrand, was USDA loans.
Right,
Yeah, and there was all kinds of little money,
but that's small money.
small money, yeah.
And what they're talking about, bringing in the big dollars, will be federal funds coming in. That's why it's so important to have our stuff current.
And
The SAM number, yeah,
Did you finally?
yeah, we finally made it.
Okay.
Took us a long time. But the point being that if you get into fiber, what you're doing with fiber, when I first started with fiber, it was like head and shoulders above everything else. And what they've done with this single piece of fiber, they've sliced and diced and made it hundreds of times faster than it even was when it was first introduced back in the 90s, you
So
know,
this
25, 30 years ago. And they're doing that again. It's just like your television, it's just like your radios, narrow banding, expanding the capabilities. That's what's happening with fiber. And it's just truly it's hard to say that there's going to be limits. So my say is, if it's fiber, fine. If it's anything but fiber, I'm not interested. And some of these outfits want to go copper.
Mhm. Now, there's a difference in these vendors that we're talking about. Bertrand wants to bury everything. Yeah, they're making a big push up north of Sturgeon Bay. They're putting in fiber optics, and they're making their, what they call their backhaul. I don't understand what that is, but they're putting in.
The line out of this,
Yeah.
this finger
Yeah.
of iron, of rock.
So they're putting in, so they want to bury everything, no towers, or poles. These other companies are looking at it a little bit, we'll bury some, and we'll put it on poles where we can't, is what they're, so they're flexible. Now,
Wouldn't Barry be better though?
if bury is, they like the fact that burying it is that it's trouble free. Once you do it, but you take, from, in Maplewood right now, you'd be grinding into solid rock.
It has to do with the rocks,
Yeah,
where they're at. You're not just putting slick trench and dragging it.
Yeah, you're grinding just like they are up north. Every day I go up there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And of course, Gardner and Union and parts of Brussels got a lot of rock. We're in pretty good shape. We only got one bridge, I believe, here.
It's under my house.
Well, yeah,
Lucky you.
it's what, about a mile wide?
Yeah,
About half a mile wide. So yeah, and so our first quote from Bertrand, this is back in February, they're making a bit, they were really low. But now they,
now that was a total different world, what they presented at this group of four.
yes, yeah,
Compared to what they presented to us a year
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Totally different.
Right, one other question, you know, just because you've been dealing with this. What is your vision if that looks like if Nassau would want to come and join in? I'm assuming in this whole mass of bidding and doing whatever. More is better. Volume would be better cost wise than it would be less.
Yeah, I would not know what the chair, first of all, the chair was gonna go
I realize this.
all by himself about a year ago. And so that's, and then in fact, about 3 years ago, he said he was all good in his township because he had put towers up. Well, then before he jumped on the bandwagon about a year ago and said, no, we're gonna go and spend the money, irregardless of any grants. And so he put a committee together and they got Bertrand together. Now he's thinking about probably joining us. And to answer your question, probably would be good. Probably we have a nice big block.
does that change that proposal, that we're okaying or whatever? I mean,
No, no.
really, he would then have to just accept what the other committees or towns, you're coming in, and
Yeah.
there is no option to change where we are, you take it or leave it.
That's right. Yeah, we're moving forward. Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we got into this thing at the right point, as far as I could tell, because they were just kicking that process off.
They were just kicking it off and our administrator from the counties came here and said, you're the last township to do anything, you better get on board or else you'll be left behind. So they were kicking in a butt, so we got on board.
Yes, I did. I pointed, you made the motion. You didn't want to hear that. But no, I think, I think we should go forward and allow this group that we've joined to do their thing. and bring it
I agree. I didn't see anything that was wrong in that thing. I think they're doing great work there. We need the numbers in order to
Yeah.
Well,
do
yeah.
anything else, and if we don't approve, we can't get any further.
This is our request for a proposal and
So is the committee, or are they gonna ask the townships how the number of drops or how we wanna do it? You're basically saying we all four or whatever townships, we want to be united. Right? Is that?
You're gonna come up with a scheme.
yeah, we'll have a.
And that'll be done over there, and then you're just gonna let us know
Yeah,
where that is.
Yep.
Okay,
I mean, that'll give us then they all come in knowing that each individual town is gonna be this way. And if after you accept one ISP, then when you come back with the per address cost, then we'll determine, well, then we have a baseline to look at what it would cost us with grant money, without grant money, and then if there's others who want it in, we would then be able to say, well, this is a service you have to pay for when you add to.
so, you were just saying that there was two lumps of money, one not here yet. One starting to filter from the federal government, right? So the first allotment of dollars is to do this type of a thing. Now, right, we're gonna be paying for that. Are they somehow gonna try to go back and collect any of those dollars? And then how would that reimbursement happen?
It's grant application. And
Grant
whoever the
application.
service provider is, will apply for monies that he feels he can get.
For this stage one,
That's right. And
Right.
we expect the provider to do the grant writing.
okay,
And he'll go after the grant monies that are available. They've been issuing grants already in this world.
Yeah, Bailey's Harbor got a $2 million grant.
Right. But there's much more that's going to be added to the pool of available money.
right, but now construction is gonna be another whole.
Well, that's
big
after
bucket
you,
of-
that's after you have an RFP, you've decided you wanted to accept it, you know what your town's costs are. We'll get that then from public hearings as to, present that, how many people really want in on this thing, put it out to referendum, let them say yay or nay based on those estimates, and then go forward. You don't contract until you've got the go-ahead from your constituents, and you also know what ballpark, what the costs are going to be and how it's going to be paid for.
When you have a final cost for your municipality, you'll very likely say, okay, we will approve it providing we get X percentage.
Of the grant.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll, based on that, if you don't get that, at least that, then you're out of it. Also, at the time you hear the final cost, that would be the time you would say yea or nay, you want to be opt out too, you could opt out. Now, will that affect the other municipalities that are in it? I don't know at this point. But you,
Well, if you're asking for the by municipality amounts.
yes,
This is where you're gonna look at this.
Yeah.
Forestville town.
Brussels and Forestville are pretty close as far as they're both nicely 6 square miles.
Right.
And both is about the same amount of population. Gardner's got a heck of a big population. Yes, they do. And Union too, even though they're smaller geographic wise, they got a bigger population. And tougher digging.
Yeah.
Uh, But getting back to your comment, Lauren, yes, I have bright speed, but I'm only at 6 megabytes download at my place. In fact, I got on the internet and said Brightspeed was advertising, sign up and get 100 megabytes, get 200 megabytes for $50. So I signed up. Came back, you are already being served. And I wanted to write back, no, I'm underserved. I'm not underserved, I'm not served because I'm less than 25. But, and also T-Mobile did the same thing. Sign up for T-Mobile, so I typed in, or not, it's not available in your area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where I live, yeah. So,
But you're off in the country where
Yeah.
they steal your mail.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
We have it in our house,
What?
T-Mobile.
Okay.
yeah. But nobody steals your mail.
No.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? They get run down by a truck.
That was fun.
They'd be too nervous to be on our road.
Well, I make a motion, we accept what's been done at this point and that we continue on in this process. That's what you really are doing.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Are you?
I
gonna
I second that
Dave?
motion.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Sounds like-
Well, I mean, I could add live on that. I just recently toured the Corning Museum here, and they had a big deal on the fiber optic and stuff that was offered back in the 90s. So crude that they're refining it to this day. And this fiber optic is actually going to be way better than we've ever seen before. So honestly, you are correct, and I am wrong when it comes to fiber optics. So that being said, I appreciate Roy going forward and pushing this. This is actually going to be the best thing that we could ever get in our township. So that being said, yes, I definitely would second that, and let's see if we can't go forward with this.
All right, I have a motion to accept it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, it'll carry. Okay, item number 12, American Rescue Plan update.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roy.
Good night.
Appreciate it. Is there anything from the county board we should know?
The only thing from the county board is that we heard about shared revenue, didn't you?
Well, proposal, we'll see what happens.
Those are just proposals at this point.
It looks like it's gonna be a good thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
It does. I've heard that. I talked to John down there at the spring workshop at the Rock Garden this morning.
Okay,
I had lunch with him and talked to him
That
about
was the 11.
he says 1% of the sales tax? He said Milwaukee is fighting it because they're losing.
Yeah, well, we should get some of our money back.
Oh,
we've been underserved.
For a long time.
thank you. Ray.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, about ARPA, all I have to say is Larry and I submitted this report
In April,
April 17th, and now I got an email a couple days ago that they did not receive our report. So I sent back today, I replied, and I made a copy of these two. And I'm thinking maybe, I hope there's nothing that we missed, but here's a report, says complete, all the green.
Oh, that's what you got when you printed it off? and-
Yeah, when
and
we-
they just-
well,
Yeah, when we submitted it,
Yeah,
we submitted it. It was a very difficult
Yes.
process.
yes.
We spent, I don't even know.
I think 5 times you were over at our house.
And every time was a couple of hours.
Yeah,
worth of
yeah.
Do this and do that and get there.
Mhm.
We got it accepted. Unfortunately, that was also right at the same point that our
Sam's.
SAM
Mhm.
number expired and we could not renew that. And so then we got involved in the SAM process
Mm-hmm.
and I left that alone, what's that, a week or two ago?
Oh, at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I put an incident ticket in
Yeah.
because there was no way their government system would have allow us
Mhm.
to, and there's nobody to talk to.
No.
And
everything is-
so I filed an incident ticket with the federal
Mhm,
government procurement
Mhm,
process.
mhm.
And there was nowhere to go with it.
On
Ruth sent me a
Saturday.
note yesterday
On
saying, can you stop by today?
Yeah, because we got to get it done. It had to be in 3 days
And I only got 3 days to get this done. Can you come by tomorrow? And that was last night.
last night.
This morning I woke up and I'm all set to go to Ruth. I'll get down to the rock garden late. And she says, don't have to come over. I just got it.
Yeah, I think the problem was we changed from .com, our email, to
Yes.
wi.gov. Well, that threw it all out, plus a new chairman. We had to change that, and there was
Yes.
no way we could change it unless we were on.
Registered.
Registered,
they
and we
hadn't
couldn't get
really-
in. We couldn't get in because we didn't have the right email. It was just a
So-
fiasco
So you have to renew this every year?
every year. Mhm.
So when I get the notice in February, I think we need to start.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
it
see-
should be coming just to wi.gov. If you
Yeah.
get anything
Mhm.
other than
Yeah,
that.
and see what happened while you were getting these notices. It had my name with your email address. That was all goofed up too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I don't
that's
know how
not the
that all
way,
worked out.
yeah, I don't know, that's not the way it was put in there because what I had printed up was correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, the ARPA, I'll have to see what they respond. They said it'll take about 12 days, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
you got the proof. We did it on time.
Well, yes, it
Yeah.
was, and I wanted to get this done before, we had the problem with the Sam's number, and I wanted to get this done to make sure it was in. And now they're saying we don't have it in, so there
Well,
it is,
We've got evidence that we filed it.
yeah.
Their
In the
systems are.
ARPA file.
Yeah.
No, that's their problem.
So that's just waiting on that one now.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Item number 13, Larry, HeyGov and website update.
Well, other than putting a spring picture up there and getting revised minutes or revised agendas out and getting the notifications out, it was a bit of a challenging month. Basically, I was doing an awful lot with our.
Yeah, and Sam,
And Sam, so, there's areas now within the HeyGov, the digital services, and some changes that will be coming, that aren't yet, ready, but I haven't put any effort into it either. So I will pick up on that hopefully in the next month or two. This is a tough time of year for everybody,
Mhm.
including me. So I
Busy time.
was out of town until yesterday and I'm leaving town next week, so. I'll be back in June. What can I say? So not much has changed other than, there's the potential that we'll be able to get a better, more granular ability to, reserve rooms. So if we have a reservation and it says the town hall is reserved, that's 2 rooms and it's all day. So I'm looking at how do we get this down to a granular level so that we could say, okay, the town board is having a meeting today, but there's out there a meeting room that's available yet that we could rent, or the pavilion. And so we're gonna look at the reservation system in a little different manner. So those things are where I'm working with the folks. But it's gonna take more time. So that's it.
I learned at our meeting today in Green Bay that apparently a lot of places don't even have a website, so I think we're leaps and bounds ahead.
We are.
Just saying, so thank you, Larry.
We're way ahead of an awful lot of towns, I think.
Item number 14, approval of Holy Name of Mary Picnic license application and bartender license for Tom Sawyer, Jim Grobel, and Holly Meldon.
That's, yes, I have their applications and I have their license ready to go. And I also received yesterday the for the Sierra's Pub and Grill, and I put the notification, it'll be in the paper this weekend on the Pulse. And that will approve at the next meeting, because that has to have a 30-day.
Right, that's for the license.
Right,
bartender
right.
license that.
Mhm. But the rest I
paperwork.
have the picnic license and the bartender
And they
licenses.
have their service certification.
Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
Fine.
I'm waiting for Holly's, but she has hers. So, okay.
I'd make a motion, we approve those licenses.
I second that.
All right, perfect. So I have a motion to approve the license application. And I have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Opposed? Hearing none, it'll carry. So then for next month, we'll add that to the agenda, right? Or
Yes, we're Sierra's, yeah. Mhm.
Sierra's.
Yes,
All right. Item number 15, road and road work. So I have compiled a list of the maintenance that we want to do and the grading, and I will be getting a hold of that to get that underway. But that's where I am as of this point. Well, for like the grading,
Oh, well, yeah. the grading.
what I'm talking about is the grading and the potholes that
Yep.
we went and looked at.
Right, right.
So
The maintenance things.
the maintenance things.
Yeah, okay.
So,
We have to get those.
yep, I got his list. I'm gonna get that over to him, talk to him.
Okay.
I'm assuming he can give us a ballpark, but at the same time, it's gonna be pretty much, you gotta go get that done. Unless you want me to put that out to somebody else as well.
Well, for those maintenance, for the potholes and the grading and gravel and grading, those
Yep.
few places we have, that has to be done. I mean, that's just
Yes.
maintenance. What I'm curious about is, we looked at and talked about a couple of roads.
Roads that we wanted to correct, which is, that's a whole nother process that. Correct. The one over by my place where we want to actually build up and see if we can. get
Where
some
we
grants.
talked about County Line Road
Yep,
and Bridger Road,
to relieve the pressure for the trucks to go down.
right, in both cases. And then I don't think that we have to, I think Roy did do the Pacer rating into the whistle system, but I don't know that. Did you contact the guy from Bailey Regional?
Not yet,
Oh, okay.
not yet.
All right.
So. I was just dealing with a bunch of
Mhm.
things.
I understand.
I think that-
Yes,
Is the village of Forestville gonna subsidize you at all for doing Old Krieger Road and County Line Road?
Well-
To lighten up the traffic through their village?
We have a bad road in both cases.
I know. But you're talking about really, putting 4 inches down to make it almost
correct. It
Right.
would
state
be,
highway like.
It'll depend on what we can get, because we'll have to do engineering. And the costs associated with that, and then get, apply for grants. And Thad Ash has already told us that we need to be getting on to that. And if you're going to the, Towns Association
yes.
meeting, Thad Ash will be there a week from Thursday. We've got to start the process because some goes real fast.
Yeah.
And we know roughly what our road aids are going to be. How much of that can we do?
Right, yeah.
And if we aren't proactive early on, we won't be able to get it done, any part of it. So we might be able to get one of those roads done, but maybe not both. And the costs associated with both of them, most of those chunks of road are gonna cost
Expensive.
very expensive. So,
We don't get any grants or any help with those? We don't have anything
Well,
to,
well, we gotta talk to that. And he said you got to get these, these projects identified
And then applied for.
and applied for. So we have to start moving on that.
So you're saying you're coming out better by going for a grant or
Well,
upgrading it rather than leaving it the way
Right,
it
and
is.
with it relieving some of the pressure through the town,
Oh, yeah.
that might help us actually get the grant versus not.
yeah, there's some advantages to doing it this way. But you can't do it just one of those roads because it's two
Right,
roads,
right.
you know,
Trust me, we know the last couple of days how much traffic has been
absolutely.
Yes.
on J.
And we've known that a long time, and now we're gonna do something about it. But we gotta figure out how to do it, and we gotta do it in concert with some of the funding that's available. State's gonna do more funding, but then there's also other ways to get grant monies, and there's well, It's a process.
Option would be, yeah, another option would be actually going forward and getting a loan. Possibly to do those two roads to the standard and liking that we would like. And it's not the best, option, but it's only an option.
We have the option of going again to that, public lands money, on a shorter term loan. To get some monies to do both roads
Mhm.
and then completely relieve the process, get them both done. But we can't do that until we find out where we're at.
Yeah.
With the, with.
Yeah, there's some stuff that I gotta do ahead of time,
So,
without a doubt.
okay,
Also, part of that graveling is to do that side of the road
Yeah,
on your street there as well.
oh, to do the shouldering,
yeah, well, shouldering, I mean, there's a place down there where we've got some badgers or something that are excavating the.
that was up here, huh?
Yes,
Road work.
yeah.
Yeah, they're under.
Is that, Ruth, is that part of your property?
No.
It's right across from
That mobile
Terry,
home?
or Troy Beatner,
Oh, is it?
or across from the mobile home,
Yeah,
across from the mobile home.
right.
Okay, then that would be, Bob Procky,
Bradkey?
that would be Procky's land.
Cause we really need to get those animals.
But
out of there.
if they're in the trees, that's Ruth and Joe.
They're in the road.
This is in, they're
They're
under.
burrowing under the road.
Under Old Elm Road.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
On both sides? I
No,
mean,
no,
It's
it's
on the
only
north
on,
side.
only on the north side. So you go down there, you feel this little dip, just a little
Oh,
dip, it's
okay.
right by the shoulder. We got out and looked at it, oh my heavens sakes, we
Oh.
have,
Several,
they're
I
digging
did
out.
notice that dip when we went through there.
several.
They're
So
pretty-
can we have somebody trap them?
Yeah.
That's really what we wanna do.
Waste oil.
But-
Huh?
I said waste oil works good.
But first off, because it's there, you almost gotta get permission, I would think, from the
Yeah,
landowner.
That would almost be the ditch, that would be,
That's in our
that's
right
the time, yeah, that's the
Okay,
town,
so is it
right
a
away.
DNR question? Can we trap there and, cause it's out of season, I have no idea what kind of animal it is.
Oh, my.
You know what I'm getting at? I mean, but it's a nuisance and you can't wreck the road.
I don't
because of-
think you have, I think you just do it and you get rid of them.
Yeah, I do too, and
Yeah.
you had mentioned when we were doing the road inspection, you do a
Does
trap.
Jim
Yeah.
Linus
He
do that
can
yet?
tell you.
I asked Jim, and he was one of them,
Oh.
and said, can't right
Can't.
now with his.
If I may,
Go ahead.
Yes,
same issues happening over on Maplewood Road, basically by, Dietrich's property, by the little bridge over on,
Kramer's Creek.
yes, Kramer's Creek, right down the road from my place. Do you have the same thing up there? You have the groundhog thing underneath as well. And it's creating a even bigger problem there as well.
I had I wrote that down on our little map. I think there might even been a third one too.
This down.
I thought there was three of them.
Town
I got
line.
them, I got them placed on my map. The same thing with like, oh, there was a rock placement. There's somebody left their brush here. So.
Yeah, the rock, I know Randy went up and down the ditches on Mill Road, he said he didn't see any rocks in our area,
But I got it on the map, so what I can do
So-
is maybe I'll just scan that.
Yeah,
Right here,
send
right
that,
here, and
yeah.
I think you guys are renting the field, you might tell me, no, it's not us. Well, then I'll find out who it is and.
Yeah, cause well, we don't rent anything on Mill Road, we own everything from right below I should say we rent Gordy's, I guess. But down that way, we don't rent anything past, Center Road,
We just don't want the ditch cutter to,
Yeah.
he asked if we could.
so I
look at
don't know who is down there.
You might ask Pat Ash that question. We're having
I
the
don't know in there.
road bed
Which side of the road?
excavated
I don't know what side
and
it's on.
causing a dip on the road.
Where's this
What
now?
recommendation
On
would we
Mill,
give
down,
Well, the west side is
for
still.
dealing with
Nothing's
that?
yet. Around,
I mean, that would be an
Jimmy, the
option.
electrical
Yeah, I
guy.
think he's gonna give you the
oh,
right
is this
direction.
it?
Sisler.
And
There's a lot of
even
tunnels
if
there.
that's.
It's on this side of the road.
It becomes a
which side
public
it's on.
safety
Oh,
issue,
'cause there's
Oh,
one-
absolutely.
one
not
there.
a trapper's issue
Yeah,
of.
but you'll just have to get me in.
Right,
It's
it's
a
a safety,
public-
absolutely it is, 100%.
Yeah.
I ran into, on my way back today, on the roads that we're talking about. That we want to rebuild there. And for whatever reason, they had some logs dropped off, sure, for burning wood, and they just left this stuff all over the road, and it's right there. So I stopped in immediately, and I said, knocked on the door, and finally somebody came out, and I asked them, please, move that. So they said, absolutely, as soon as my husband comes home. I said, but first you gotta get a broom, you gotta get this stuff off the road, you can't.
leave.
They
this.
cannot leave that there. I said, it's a safety issue. You gotta, so she said, yep, I'll take care of that right away. And so
Okay,
hopefully we'll check tomorrow and hopefully that is dealt with and there's no problems.
right.
Okay, so that's what we have as far as item 15, road work.
Brush cut.
Brush cutting. And tell
Yeah.
them right away.
That was probably on there from last month.
Right, I
Yeah.
think that one there, we were gonna
That,
actually,
the agreement was already sent to Joe Bader, so.
yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Okay.
So this one here for next meeting, I think you can remove brush
Yep,
cutting, right?
mhm, you're right.
Yeah, just
Okay, item number 16, payment of bills.
Okay, so we will start on 420 with Century Tel.
right at the bottom of the page.
Yep. Bottom of the second page.
Second page, third in the bottom is where it begins. And I did spend some time, I went through
The bills.
the bills themselves. And looked at them. So, I mean, from what I've seen and what we've done here. Now, Roy hasn't turned any expense in
No,
for
he
his
hasn't.
stuff, but
No,
Jason has,
Jason and Chris Sample has not.
so we're still waiting for those.
Mhm.
But they're putting
You have the
in
visa
an
bill?
extraordinary amount of work.
You have
Oh,
the,
yeah. It's in there.
oh, it's in here. Oh, it's a envelope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say one thing, just based off of the comment that Roy had made as far as the downspouts and stuff. That check we would hold. Keep it
Yes,
written there
uh-huh.
as soon as they come and take care of the finalization of that. I hate to hold the whole amount like that, but
I would anyway.
whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, they'll
But
get it done then, yeah.
You-
Maybe you can mention that too when you talk.
I
to-
will,
Okay,
whenever Jeff gets back,
Mhm.
but.
okay,
Well, so just don't give him the check.
Right, my
yeah, I'll
point
just
is,
hold it, yeah.
that's why we're talking, right? We're gonna okay the bill, we're gonna hold it,
Approve
Ruth, right?
But not.
Ruth can then mail it
I'll hold
out once
Wednesday.
work
Once,
is
once you
done,
tell me, yeah,
and
tell
then
me.
we're good to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
and given that, I'm in total agreement with that. Don't pay for something that we haven't got finished yet, or they'll never finish it. So, given that, I'd make a motion, we approve the bills for payment. Withholding that check to Vans Lumber until they get the job finished.
Okay.
Downspouts replaced.
I'll second that.
all right. I have a motion to pay the bill with the exception of Van, we're gonna hold, we're gonna pay it, but hold it. All in favor?
All right,
Aye.
I think that was an
I
aye.
think
Huh?
so too.
That was,
Yeah, okay.
All opposed, hearing none, it will carry. All right, item 17, announcements. Door County unit of WTA will meet on May 25th at 6 p.m. at Clay Town Hall. I will be going to that. I don't know if anybody else is gonna be coming.
I'll be in Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh,
I won't make that one.
Jason
Okay.
going?
Are you gonna be back to go to the Towns Association over in Claybanks, Jason?
I'm planning on being there for that, yes, but I don't plan on becoming or sitting in as a chair or getting elected for anything that Roy might have in mind.
Okay, you defend yourself. And I'm not gonna be there, and this has been pre-planned a long time ago, and I'm not interested.
I will see to that, so, okay, thank you.
Okay,
All right, so also item B within item number 17 is the WTA convention in October 22nd to 24th in Wisconsin Dells.
if you're going, we should really get rooms right away.
Yeah, I'm still planning on going. absolutely.
Okay, and are you going?
I
Okay,
planned on
Okay.
going, because the Towns Association Convention down at the Dells,
you learn a lot.
you have,
Mhm.
oh heavens, so much you can learn.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm planning to go. I don't know, Jason, were you planning to go to the convention in October?
The convention in October, it wasn't really on my radar at this point. I got too much stuff going on with moving one from Connecticut back into
Yeah.
New York again. And it always falls right in the same harvest and getting one back into college again. So I'm into that one.
Okay,
Cause that day is
it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, generally.
Mhm.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Generally, it starts
Mhm.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. Mhm.
And then,
Afternoon.
it concludes.
Well, Sunday you come in, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Do they
Well, they
actually,
all
on
have
Sunday
sessions.
night? Oh, they do have sessions on Sunday?
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have a lot of vendors, you know, you get to
Okay.
see all of,
And there's so much, so much to
yeah,
be
yeah.
had
Like
there.
Scott Construction will have,
Let's see,
Yeah.
that would be October 8th, 9th, and 10th, right?
no,
22nd,
22nd, 23rd,
and
and
24th, 24th.
yeah, Sunday, the 22nd,
Take a
23rd,
break
Monday,
from there.
24th, Tuesday. So we get
How they do
two
my
nights.
book.
2 nights there. It usually kicks off in the afternoon with their opening festival. I don't think they have any agenda yet for the annual
This is
convention,
from
but
May.
it's been in
Yeah, it's been in here.
there before. There's so much to learn there. It's amazing.
Mhm.
All right. So Ruth, are you gonna?
I'm
Try
not
to find
completely sure if I'm going yet, but yeah, I could call in for rooms.
I was gonna say, let's reserve rooms, and then at least we've got them
For rooms, okay.
at least 3, I would
Mhm,
think, you
okay.
and I don't, Dina, you haven't gone to yours.
It's really a bad time for me.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
With crops coming off.
Yeah.
Okay, item number 18, all other matters as authorized by law. Town hall signage,
We need a sign. I don't know what they would cost you or, you know, the one that's at the Brussels Town Hall is really a nice sign.
Oh, did you take a picture? Cause
No,
oh, it's probably on their website. Maybe, oh,
hmm,
Who's?
Tom Brussels.
not Brussels.
because you can't get a cost till you know what you're asking for, you know,
Right.
and then we can decide where we want to go and.
The, Town Brussels. Let's see, do we, Town Brussels for county, do they have us? No,
Let's see one here.
no, I don't see it. Contacts, forums, meetings.
I don't see a picture.
No, I don't see a picture either. But basically what they have is they have a signboard that's about twice the size, well, not twice the size, but it's bigger than the one we have. This thing out here, it was fine as long as it was under the roof, the cover. They have the name Town Brussels on the sign itself. If you got a sign that you could, you know, put up against, you know, like we had it on the wall. Jason, you had an idea of putting up some kind of a freestanding sign, but the problem I thought of in that regard is that the fact is that you then have to put in a couple of posts, but then you gotta mow around it,
Right,
and then you've got some additional, just like
to maintain that sign. Yeah.
maintain the sign. So you paint the sign out here.
And I see it needs another
I
painting too.
didn't go in there, But it just
I
creates.
looked at it. I looked at it because we cleaned the brush around there. We
Right.
trimmed the bushes and everything. I thought, oh my goodness, I thought I just painted it, but might be a couple of years ago that I
Is
did
it
that.
already?
I don't know.
I don't
Here's a
know.
nice one.
Well, that's what Jason might be thinking about, huh, Jason?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're talking all digital there. Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, keep looking.
You have to show it to the,
Where do you see it?
But I also,
It's right here.
Oh,
yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Do you have any idea what those might cost?
Oh, I looked at.
Uh,
A little digital one was $30-some thousand, and that
Yeah.
was nothing else.
yeah, they're pricey.
Yeah.
well, could you have do that?
Hmm?
I
Or could
think,
you have that made?
I think Mike Reeder made that one, didn't he? I think that,
Built the one.
I
out
think
here,
so.
Yes.
Mhm. I think Mike
Years
Reeder
ago.
did, yeah.
Again, the question I have is, you know, do we want to put our letters across the sun? I
Yeah,
don't think so. But if we had I mean, the ballpark, the ball diamond sign
Mhm, that's- yeah.
really sets it up.
Mhm, mhm.
If we have the meeting notices, the posters for the, like the
Mhm.
July 4th celebration and stuff like that. But a weather close, a weather tight thing, because water will get into that
Mhm.
thing there. It's already, that we will pay what, 15 bucks?
Yeah,
for
that's,
it?
yeah. I like that.
So are you talking about a sign out front or are you talking
Right,
about
we're
just?
talking about a sign in the front, so when you drive by, you see
Okay.
it says the town, you know, Forestville Town Hall.
All right,
But what type of a sign, and it almost sounds like we're talking about sign and.
Bulletin
case.
board.
Bulletin board, yeah, if you could maybe put both together, but.
And whatever
Yeah,
the costs are, I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. But I know they have, there's a panel that says Brussels Town Hall,
Mhm, mhm.
Forestville Town Hall. But you want to have a good enough sized panel
Right,
so
yeah.
somebody can read that.
Mhm.
The old letters that we do have in the back would have to be somehow attached if you wanted to put it on that single piece above the doors and windows. I don't know. And I mean, this is a vinyl siding that you don't want to start messing with, I don't think. I mean, we've got to get our handicap sign up.
Yeah, we had talked about that.
Mhm.
So
And
what we're gonna do is put some plastic behind it, so it's not
see, I'm guessing.
absolutely screwed to the building.
but with the plastic, how would that?
Could you have?
Well, you're still screwing it to the building, so excuse me there. But the sign then is not touching the siding, so you don't start to get a rust. and
Exactly,
oxidization.
exactly.
I'm not wrecking what the look of my building looks like. If so, it should be a half inch away by that little spacer. You still got the screws there,
But
but
you have the
now
spacer.
the drip line should not touch the siding.
Right.
If you,
And if we were to get a sign board,
If
that
you
kind of
just take
weather
the
tight,
Something covered.
we have to do the same
Oh
thing.
my,
We're not
yes,
thinking
yeah.
this.
yes, I don't wanna wreck what
And
we've
I don't
got.
wanna put a bunch of letters
That's what
across the
340,
top.
No, it should be
But I don't know how big
a
it is.
sign, yes, I agree.
Can we do something engraving it?
You could do something like that.
I mean, I don't know how big that one is, but
That's a good size sign. Appears to be,
Yeah,
Mhm.
but we still need a bulletin board under
you
it.
still need,
Yeah,
yeah, some form of
Yeah,
a board, waterproof board, you know what I mean?
Right, but
If
that,
anything like that, you're gonna wanna somehow seal, right? No
sure.
matter if it's gonna be
Yep.
wood type thing, you wanna make sure we got a
Or you
good.
could do a metal one too, I mean. Olson Fabricating in Algoma, can do something like that.
Do they do signs or is it,
They do, I think anything that, they're looking at making one for us for the farm.
I didn't know that they did. metal.
They'll do anything you ask them to do.
so why don't we why don't we find out what it would cost, get a quote or something from them?
You have, the problem is you have to show, you have to give them some
We gotta give
idea,
them an idea what.
because they don't know what to quote you.
Right.
They don't give you an idea, they don't give them an idea.
But, okay, so we're back to getting a bullet or a weatherproof bulletin board. what.
I think you gotta start with that first. Once you've got the
Yeah,
board,
exactly.
now, you know what? I want my sign to be
Up
envisioned
this
over.
wide and
Yes,
that high on top of, and then you
Yes.
can talk about.
and I'm not sure where to get the waterproof or weatherproof cases like that is, I suppose you guys could go online and look.
I guess that's what we have to do.
Maybe we should look at some LED lighting and the stonework in the front of the building is
I think
perhaps some
there's something
natural
in the
wood
water.
gables.
There's something in the water out east there. It's affecting you.
I have to agree with you. It is beautiful here in Nantucket, so. It's nice. It's beautiful out here.
What size case do you guys think ballpark? Cause you know, you're getting this
We're
little guy.
only, what is that, about 24 inches?
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
So this is something like this is kind of what we have now, right?
but that's an indoor. door.
No, that's a
It could be-
weatherproof. Says weatherproof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a
That's what-
double case. But see, to me, now you got enough that if you ever had to put anything, or if you have, you know, the sheriff's department, anybody
Yeah,
has
yeah.
something we need to post in there, you have
then
enough
you've got
room.
room.
Right.
You
Could
got
be a
that.
little bit bigger than what we do
Right,
have,
so
because,
here, look at it.
yes,
It's like two of them.
Yep. Mhm.
It's a double wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking about.
Mhm.
So you have to incorporate your sign into that or.
Well, it would be above it, right? Cause I mean, you don't want your
Oh,
stuff.
I like that.
In the air, right?
That
They're
looks
gonna be
good.
down here. Our sign could be.
Yeah, above it, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I have to talk and
That-
hold it in front of my face.
No, it looks good, Larry. I know what you're saying. Because you want to be able to put other notices in there, you know, like considering the fire department or
Right.
like you said
Yeah.
before,
Mhm.
in case the police department wants to put something out there. Too. So yeah, definitely.
I see the Maple
like that.
Mets put their notice out there too, with their ball games.
Right.
Right.
That's fine.
And we
yeah.
always used to have it at the,
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
you know, at my
You
building
can
until
see
they
that?
closed the post office.
Something like
I
that.
can see that. Just like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Mhm.
We can work
Yeah.
around that.
So if we can get something like that,
It doesn't have to be huge or anything, you know,
No,
just.
but this is good size.
Yeah.
This is double wide.
What size is it saying there?
I'm trying to find that. It's 60 inches wide, 3 feet high, 2 doors. Enclosed.
Like how
Uh,
high?
3 feet.
5 feet.
Oh, 5 feet?
5 feet.
5 feet
60
wide,
inches.
36 inches high.
3 by 5.
Three by
Yeah.
five.
That is pretty big.
And this one has full length hinges, shatter resistant acrylic
We're gonna have a
windows.
problem
Why?
because you can't put a sign more than 5 by 7
It's not.
because of the county zone.
County zone. Or county
Oh.
requirement.
Well, yeah, but
Find
your
a
case
smaller
can
one.
be, your case can be what it is.
Yeah, but you can't combine them together then.
I'll just pay the fine and be over with it. Just pay the fine.
Well, we'll just get rid of county zoning and we'll adopt our own, that'll fix them.
Oh, no.
No, you can't do
I
that.
have to agree with you on that one, Kevin, but okay.
Yeah, I would love to get rid of county zoning.
I heard that.
But it's just something that we're gonna have to get it okayed with the county before you can do anything.
We have to go for a permit.
Yeah. Gotta get a permit.
Well, not for the case, you're not.
It depends where you're putting it.
If that's sitting on your building, what is the difference?
Oh, on the building, you're
Yeah, the
fine.
building.
On the building, you're fine.
That's what I'm
And the
saying,
sign
Oh,
is
I
gonna be
thought
on
you-
my building as well.
but the sign
Yeah,
can
put the
be
sign.
above the case.
Yeah.
So we got a bulletin board
Okay.
for.
So the,
notices.
so the sign ain't sitting out there in the
No.
yard?
No,
Oh,
we would just, so we would get a sign that meets the zoning requirement.
On the building, I don't know if you have
Identify.
one.
Yeah,
I don't know if you have one on the building,
well, we could have.
Well,
asked the
whatever.
question.
but
We're.
I thought we were putting it
I
out in the
Yeah.
yard. Okay,
So,
We'd be able to look it up and find out
Yeah.
beforehand.
yeah.
yeah, so.
We could be grandfathered in.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Municipal, possibly.
It's, yes, you know.
Then
But
they'll come and
we'll
tell
have-
us we're not zoned to have the town hall here.
No, we got it, it's clear. And I think what we'll have to do is find out what requirements we have for a sign on the town. So that would be something we could ask somebody up at the,
Oh, so that sign, that second sign I showed you would be better than the first sign. That first sign has to sit on in the yard.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
if we have one and like you say, if it's weather tight,
Right,
One thing with a sign out in the yard, then you get cut around it.
so we'll get a little more
And then you
information.
get a
And what
flow
we'll
bed
do is
around it,
we'll
kids
add that
play tag
to,
and they're running around some,
Yeah.
we can add this to the agenda for next month as well. So
Okay.
a little more information needed here,
Yep.
right?
Okay,
yep,
Item B is spraying of dandelions on the ball field and town hall area
okay, now on the ball field, they're going to take care of it now
themselves.
and Dan Dobner would spray the town hall area. He gave us a figure of about $60 for the whole area for spraying. For
Right.
dandelions, he said there's a lot of dandelions.
I think that's more than reasonable in my mind.
Yeah,
yeah.
We don't need a motion on that, though, do we?
Sure do.
Because we're
Yeah, we're
spending
spending
money.
motion. I make a motion to let Dan Dobner go ahead and do the dandelions for the whatever proposal
town
amount,
hall.
of the town hall, yes.
Property.
I'll second that.
All right, so I have a motion to have the town hall sprayed by
Yep.
Dan Dobner. All in favor?
All right,
I,
All opposed? Will carry. So I had a couple things here. Because I had received a phone call, so maybe I should have put that up on correspondence
That's
instead.
all right.
But either way, we're gonna talk about it. During the game, the police came and had to deal with the parking on both sides of the road. And then I had one of our constituents call because they can't get through with equipment. And he's like, we got about 5 inches on each side of the road and you can barely get 2 cars that come down the road safely. What has to happen, there should be no parking on one side of the street, the far side. They can all park on this side. So my answer to that was, first off, I agreed 100% for safety purposes. The cops came and I'm sure they moved them all over there. But I think we need to get a hold of whoever's in charge of the Mets or whatever it is. And they can just make some homemade signs just like they do, Mets
well, they
game this
do,
way.
yeah, they already
Yeah.
have done that. Yeah,
Well, then they're gonna have to make sure that it happens during the game time
right.
because it's an issue. We don't really want to deal with that.
No. So whoever is,
So
Well-
who do I need to get a hold
I
of?
would call Jim Grolvogel first.
Tim Grove.
Yeah, he's the one that takes care of the concession stand and he would know who the manager of the Mets would be, where they could,
right,
tell the ball club that they can't park there.
We have an athletic club, don't they?
It's a- maybe whatever.
Yeah, they both like club,
Okay.
and Jim
Jim
Grolvogel is
Should be
kind of,
trusted on that, I'm sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
how do I get Jim's name or
I
number?
gave you the number.
Oh, that was his little
Yeah,
number. Okay.
did you keep that?
Well, I did. It was a little sign, but it was, when
His
I
phone
read
number.
it was Jim Grovagel, and then it said about the spraying of the
Yeah,
leaves.
yeah, and that's what, yeah,
So
Yeah,
it's the
there's
same
this-
guy.
yeah. mhm.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
just perfect then.
yeah.
Okay. That's why I was a little bit confused. I'm thinking.
Oh,
'cause there
Jim
was two
is the
things
one
we
to
had talked
talk
about.
to, yeah, Jim is the one to talk to about the dandelions, so then he
Okay.
called me and he said that John would spray.
okay.
Would it be prudent to put up signage perhaps on the side of the road that says, during ball games, one side of the road?
I think the Mets would have to do that, and maybe put the sign up and down, put it up for the game
I
and take
think-
it down.
I think what Jason's saying is just leave it there permanently.
Oh, that way.
Yeah, kind of like what we do over by the, for the
For,
pond.
for Forestville
Yeah.
Dam
mill
there,
pond.
yeah.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that too, but I don't know whose responsibility that is to have that done. Would it be
Yeah.
ours or would it be?
Yeah,
Would it be the Mets trying
That'd
to
be the
find out?
county. I would think the county would put that up there, wouldn't
That's
they?
county road.
it's a county road, yeah, they would have to go through the county, I'm sure.
Cause fireworks night, they're parked on both sides of the road.
Yep,
Right, right.
Everywhere. right?
And
So-
The original reason why we did that over on the, down by the Forestville Dam was because
That
one
day.
time the Forestville Fire Department couldn't get through because people were parked on both sides of the road. And that's why the fire truck couldn't get through at one point. That's why we ended up going that route with the
No parking
parking
this
on one
side.
side only.
Right.
Yeah,
So, but we put
exactly.
those things on the town road.
Yeah, we got to
Right.
talk to the county to do it here on H.
So is that a
So
Fred
I
question?
would think
So maybe.
that
talk
could
to
be a
Thad
Roy
as well.
question, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but he left.
Yeah, well,
right.
that's,
He's on the highway committee.
Well, he's gonna
Town
talk to
board.
Thad, he might as well just talk to Thad about that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, you may as well just go right to the source on that one.
Because that's who's gonna ultimately deal with it.
I mean, I don't want to overstep. I mean, I'm just. Yeah,
It's a good suggestion, Jason.
right. It's just putting it out there.
They park more on the lawn and stuff during ball games, like
Oh, it was just
They park
packed there on
everywhere.
Sunday.
Yeah.
is there any damage done?
I don't know.
I don't think
I think they're pretty respectful. It's not about damage, it's more about safety because
They can't get through the road.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
especially
think-
after a rain or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah, if they got a lot of rain, I'm sure it's not real good for them to be in. the mall.
Most of the ball players are the ones who park
Mhm.
on the lawn. Because by the time you got two teams in here,
right.
an umpire, you're filled up on the lawn. So they all go to the road.
Okay, so we'll do a little bit of investigating on that and see what we can
Okay,
do.
so you'll ask that.
I have one other question here. Do we have a flag to
Mhm.
put on our pole?
Mhm.
Where is that
It's
thing?
in the
In
back.
the storage room.
Does it
Okay,
only go up for games or?
well, I think it should be up all the time. You have a yard light right there, a road light. It's
Okay.
shined on it 24 hours. There's no, if there is no veteran to take it up and down, I just think.
As long as
that-
there's a light on it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
For night, you gotta have a light on it, or at least you're supposed to for respect or whatever. It's
Mhm.
just the right thing to
I
do.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
and since we have one sitting right there
Mhm.
and it will be lit,
The lights are always on.
mhm.
correct?
Mhm. Mhm.
So therefore, I would like to just make sure it's up in my mind,
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
respect
good.
and,
Then I
Put
won't
it
have to
up.
put the flag up and down for elections.
okay? So I don't really know, it's in the storage room? you
Yes.
said?
uh-huh, uh-huh. In there, the shelf.
Okay,
There's a couple in there.
wonderful.
Well, are they the right one? Do we
I'd have
have
to-
48 bar flags, 50?
No.
I mean, I have to ask a question because I found things in that room that are very interesting. We cleaned it up pretty much.
Yes, needed it too.
Okay, item 19, discussion and items intended for further meetings. I think we went through
I
them
think
as we
so.
went down, right?
Mhm. I
One
think
one of
everything
the
up there.
things that we had, you had asked a question earlier with regard to, amounts that can be spent. And ordinance 2015-2 authorized reimbursement by the town is authorized for elected and appointed town officers for expenses incurred for supplies needed to conduct town business and items required to maintain the town facilities. The amount authorized shall not exceed $500 without prior town board approval.
Mhm.
So that is an existing ordinance that we passed in 2015. That's, you would ask that question?
Right, because that was from our meetings today, was one of
Right,
the things that
it's
came up, and I'm
there.
like, do we have something of this?
We do.
And you said, I believe it, we do, I believe it was 500, and there it is.
There it is. The other one is, the other thing that we had, you also asked a question with regard to town records, who's the keeper of records?
Yeah,
Well, we have an ordinance for the destruction of obsolete records.
which is 7 years for most records. they think.
And we have an entire
25%.
schedule that was put together,
Mhm.
and that is an ordinance that we passed in 2017, town 9, or ordinance is 2017-09. And so this doesn't specifically say, the ordinance is entitled the Town of Forestville Destruction of Obsolete Records Ordinance. Purpose is the ordinance to provide town officers of the town of Forestville with the authority to destroy records in possession of the town. But you asked the question of who is the custodian? And I don't know if we've ever said it's the clerk, but you are the town clerk, and part, I think, if we looked at clerk's this job description, if you will, in the ordinances or in the town
Right.
statutes, I believe they specify that the records of the town are maintained by the clerk.
Mhm.
We'll have to look a little further
Yeah.
into that, but,
Just with today's class, it was a thing that came up, and I don't remember if it was the attorney that did it, or if it was one of the other guys, and it was. The question was point blank asked, and they said, well. It's the chair who's supposed to do it, but normally what happens is they appoint. The clerk,
Oh.
because the clerk
Mhm.
in
is
this
dealing with
case,
most of that.
the clerk is an elected official. I think it comes into play once you start having an appointed clerk, an appointed treasurer. Then you need to have your town spelling it out. I think we need to look at that.
Maybe just ask.
Ask Carol Norwood.
Mhm.
She'll
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So do we have to have it, we have this as the records, the records retention and record
Right.
destruction.
Mhm.
But I don't know if we have to have an ordinance stating that the clerk is the maintainer of the records. But I think that's a worthy question.
Right, that's,
So maybe you could ask Carol and see what she
Mhm.
says. And if it's necessary for us to do that as a town board, then we need to do it.
Mhm. I know, I have the records and also Roy would keep like, whatever business he's doing.
Right,
He
which-
would be doing,
which he gave me,
right.
and then,
Mhm.
so the emails he was talking about, right, so.
It's in the email.
Yeah, but now
Uh-huh.
that's when we went back, because I didn't get them at first, right? You found the
got 'em
glitch or
all.
what, yep,
Yeah.
now they're there.
You got them all.
Yes,
We got you.
right,
set
but
up.
then I was able to go back and, okay, now I know what Roy was trying to tell me, because
You
before
didn't have it.
I didn't have it, I couldn't go any further.
See, now the emails that you send out to the county or whatever, that's your records, I would assume, because I don't,
Well, it
See
was
them.
all about open book,
yeah.
okay, so
okay.
meaning, anything that we have, we would have to then turn over if requested.
Right,
Oh,
right. Mhm,
FOIA.
mhm.
Freedom of information.
Yeah,
So that's why we use the town email for all of our correspondence,
Right. Mhm.
because we have it archived.
Yep.
And we can access it.
correct.
And you have
And that's
all
what they
of
said would be
it.
the absolute best, but in some places didn't have that. Some boards were turned over completely. And the board members of the past board deleted everything and then
Mhm.
handed their stuff
Oh.
over to the new members.
Mm.
Which there's obviously problems with dealing
Oh,
with that.
yeah.
But
And this
anyway,
is why we've done what we've done, using the internet,
yes,
setting up a website,
Mhm.
setting up digital service, setting up town email. We're doing everything the way it really
should be done, and that's exactly what the attorney said.
And that's
What
what
we're doing is what they really want everybody to be doing. Just for liability.
Well, and as soon as they came out with the requirement through the elections commission to go to a .wi.gov email address, we were right on top of that. We were probably one of the
First ones.
early adopters.
Yeah,
And I remember that town
Mhm.
association meeting where everybody started asking me, what do you do next?
Yeah.
How do you
Remember
do
that?
that?
Oh, can Larry come and do ours?
Yeah, well,
all right,
it wasn't easy, and we have had confusion as a result of going from .com to wi.gov. But our website is gonna stay the way it is, forestvilletown.com. Because
Mhm. Right.
it just sounded that, from the attorney that was talking over there,
all of your,
this is 100 times better, is now just what you're saying. If anybody would ask anything, here it is.
Yep.
It's not even an issue,
no,
where the other ones who aren't doing that type of thing there's just a lot of problems that can come along with that.
exactly.
All right, so item number 20, the next town board meeting is going to be Monday, June 19th, 2023 at 6:30 PM at the town hall. Any problems with that for anybody? Okay. Item 21, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'm kind of curious on what happened with the town, the ATV, UTV issue.
We're gonna revisit that one next month.
Yes, because we wanted you to be here. And we're
Oh, okay, very
gonna
good.
ask, I'm
Because
gonna
I'm gonna
ask a
look
couple.
Yeah, because I want to take time to look over the ordinances. I looked at several ordinances from Kiwanee County, Bailey's Harbor, I believe. There's several, Sister Bay, Sturgeon Bay, also looking at Nassau-Waupee. I'm gonna look over the ordinances and see what we can adapt to that, because I did talk to several of the sheriff's department from Door County, and they don't see a problem with this at all. That's why I'm kind of like looking and saying, all right, if I'd be here for that, I definitely want to be there for that. I would like to sit down and actually write the ordinance if I have to.
Well, we also have to look in, as Roy brought out, from the highway department, we would have to, every road that comes into our township would need a sign. And every county road sign would require $100 from the county, according to what.
I
Roy
don't see
said.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so-
didn't see that in the other ordinances, so we'll talk about that the next month.
Right, and that's
Very
why we tabled it, because I think we wanted you to be here with us, and we can do a little investigating before the next meeting.
Definitely, I like that. Thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn,
I'll second
if you
that.
heard that.
I did.
Yes, we heard that. I
Okay,
made a second to that.
so I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Read my name.